Today we shall be having the second Pad Vyakhya as a part of the Bhakti Kirtan retreat. You have received printed copies of the Pad Vyakhya. Those who are following online, you can simply hear and follow. भयो को मोह समपतित बड़ो. The sadhak says to God, who will be more fallen than me? What is the significance, the spiritual significance of this statement? What are its consequences? Why is it so beneficial to practice this sentiment? We will try and understand this as we sing the lines. Reduce the board. Mosam patit bado bhayo ko.
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 Bhayo ko.
Bhayo ko.
Bhayo ko.
Bhayo ko.
Mosam patit bado bhayo ko.
Mosam patit bado bhayo ko.
We have on the spiritual path one thing to overcome and one to achieve. Overcome the bondage of the material energy and be freed from the cycle of life and death, and attain the Supreme Divine Lord, God realization. For both of these, it is essential to know God. The Vedas say, Tameva viditva timrityumeti nanya pantha vidyate yanaya. Only by knowing Him will you cross over this. There is no other way. Again, the Vedas say, Gyatva devam muchyate sarvapashai. By knowing Dev, you will cut the bonds of Maya. So how do you get to know God? There is one JKYog, which is very attractive to intellectuals. Through the process of intellectual analysis, the Jnani understands, I am not this and I am not that. And at the end of JKYog, one achieves knowledge of the self. Atmagyan it is called. But Atmagyan does not suffice to free you from Maya. For that you need Brahmagyan. Atmagyan is like the drop. Brahmagyan is like the ocean. If you know the drop, it doesn't mean you know the ocean. If you know the ocean, you definitely know the drop. If you know God, you know the soul in relationship to God. But if you merely know the self, you will still not be freed from Maya. So how will you attain knowledge of God? For this grace is needed. Kripa. In modern parlance, you call it intervention. So divine intervention can make it happen. Hence the Brahma Sutra, which states Parattu Tachrute. The propounder of Gyan Marg, Shankaracharya, explained, Tad anugraha hetu ke naiva vijnana moksha siddhir bhavitum arhati. People who say that through Gyan you will achieve liberation, they are not talking about Atma Gyan. They are talking about Gyan you will get by grace of God. So to know God, there is only one way. Become recipient of His grace. Soi janai jehi dehu janai. The Ramayana states, if He chooses to empower you to know Him, you will then have Brahma Gyan. And the day you get to know God, you will become God-like. Janat tumahi, tumahi hai jai. And hence, this path of Jnana Yoga also requires grace for its consummation. To attract grace, one needs to do bhakti. There is another spiritual path that is very attractive, the path of Ashtanga Yoga, described by Maharshi Patanjali in 196 sutras. People selectively choose sutras without God in the picture, because that's very convenient for the ego. I don't need to surrender. I don't have any commitment to humble myself. However, Maharshi Patanjali, if you take all his sutras together, he is saying, Ishvara pranidhanat. Even on the path of Ashtanga Yoga, you will need to surrender to God. Samadhi siddhir Ishvara pranidhanat. Ishvara pranidhanat va. In 196 sutras, he has 3 times instructed, do pranipat sharanagati. Hence, whichever path we go by, without grace, success is not possible. And to attract grace, you will need devotion. Yoga kuyoga jnana ajnanu jahanahi ram prema paradhanu. Where there is prem is missing, that is not yog, it is kuyog. And it is not gyan, it is agyan. Jagadguru Shree Kripaluji Maharaj explains this in his crystal clear language. Hari ka viyogi jeev Govind Radhe. The jeev is viyogi. Viyogi means the reverse of yog. Union with God is yog. And disunion is viyog. So the soul is presently in a state of viyog, with its back to his eternal Father. So Hari ka viyogi jeev Govinda Radhe Sancho Yoga Soi Jo Hari Se Mila De. True yoga is that which connects you with God, which is bhakti, loving devotion. That bhakti, you can add gyan to it, you can add anything to it. It's just like there is a mythical drink in the celestial abodes called Amrit. If you drink it, you become immortal. Now, if you choose, you can drink Amrit by itself. Or if you like, you mix it in water and drink it, or mix it in milk and drink it. With either of these three concoctions, you will become Amar. But what makes you Amar is not the water, not the milk, but the Amrit. Likewise, what connects you in yoga with God is the loving devotion. You keep Gyan alongside, it becomes Gyan Yoga. You keep Karma alongside, it becomes Karma Yoga. You keep Ashtang alongside, it becomes Ashtang Yoga. By itself, it's Bhakti Yoga. But without Bhakti, you will not ascend the mountain of spiritual fulfillment. So in this bhakti, the essential prerequisite is humbleness. You read the writings of the saints throughout the world, and you will note that they all emphasized humbleness. Why? Because moment there is pride, there is maya, there is untruth. The untruth is the pride, I am something. And the truth is, I am nothing without God. So even a little tinge of pride means that there's a little tinge of untruthfulness in our intellect, in our life. Now, and usually for the materially conditioned soul, it's not just a tinge of pride. There's lots of pride. One big businessman who started a company and made it $1 million enterprise about 40 years ago, Mick Cormack, wrote a book, What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. What they don't teach you. So he wrote in the book that executives in organizations are big balls of ego with hands and feet sticking out. This is the reality of executives, and it's the reality of everyone in this world of Maya. Yauvanam dhana sampattihi prabhutvam avivekita ekaikamapyanarthaya kimu yatra chatushtayam. The verse says, youthfulness is a time of pride. because the body is all energized. You see the young ones, they'll keep on doing like this, it's iron. Or they'll take a comb and they'll keep on doing this. Once a young lady was sitting in my pravachan, and every 2 minutes she would do this. So after the lecture, you see, she had cut the lock short so it would fall in front of her face. And then she would do it this way. So I said, Deviji, why don't you just let it grow and comb it back? She said, Swamiji, this is a hairstyle, it's called flick. The pride of youth. Prapte tu shodashe varshe gardhabhi chapsarayate. The gadhi. You know, the gadhi. That's not very tasteful to translate into English language. But even the gadhi at the age of 16, she thinks she's an apsara, a celestial maiden. Not that the pride goes away in the next 20, 30 years. One Gandharva gave darshan to a lady and he said, ask for a boon. Now Gandharvas coming from the celestial abodes are endowed with great powers. And he is saying, ask for a boon. So the lady started thinking. The Gandharva tried to help. He said, should I make you beautiful? She slapped him, I'm not beautiful. So whether it's the Gadhi or the Gadha as well at the age of 16 thinks he is Kamdev. And then there is the pride of wealth. Wealth intoxicates. That is why the Bible says it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle. You know, the eye of the needle, it's difficult to take a thread through it. But the Bible is saying you can take a camel through the eye of a needle. But it is not easy for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. And what is the difficulty? The intoxication of wealth. Because wealth gives us lordship over the material energy. When you have wealth, then others are also running after you. And all of this gives the illusion of great power. That is why Sri Krishna said, Asatah Srimadandhasya daridryam paramanjanam atmau pammena bhutani daridrah paramikshate. For people who are intoxicated in such things, it becomes impossible to go in the direction of God. But God sometimes graces them by snatching it all away. That is His grace. So it's like the ointment of poverty which is put on their eyes and wakes them up to the reality. What is the reality of all of us? The reality is that if you get dysentery, you can't even control your motions. What is there to be proud about? We can't make one white hair permanently black. This is the extent, the dominion of our self-control. But the illusion persists. And the cause of the illusion is defective knowledge. Maharshi Patanjali explains that the identification with the self and its designations, when you decide, I am this body, then it extends. This is my post, these are my relatives. I am the senator's wife, and so on it goes. And all these things multiply the pride. But this pride is so obstinate that when you start on the spiritual path, it doesn't leave you. It changes in nature. You understand that you need to be humble, and you start practicing humbleness. But pride from inside raises its head. I am the most humble. Other people are not as humble as me. About 25 years ago, I was giving a lecture in a district place of Odisha called Jagadguru. In those days, I used to give 25-day lectures. Nowadays, you would get bored and say, go Swamiji, but those days were different. So, the arrangements, my stay was in an ashram. They're very humble, down-to-earth people. It was all mud accommodation. And one of the ashram vasis would love to come and serve me. And I would hate it, but then I am a guest, so I have to allow him that luxury that if he wants to serve Swamiji, go ahead. And he used to keep on cursing himself. I am the most fallen, I am the biggest sinner. He had learned all these statements. Used to think, my God, such impeccable humbleness. Until one day it cracked. He said, I am so humble, the other ashramvasis are all very proud. Now he became proud about being humble. That is why the English poet said, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. This pride is such a thing. It is keeping God hidden from our sight. It is preventing us from receiving grace, from receiving devotion. And the saints are telling us the very reverse. Look, spirituality devoid of the cultivation of humbleness is not genuine. It is only hypocrisy. If you want to be genuine, you must be down to earth. How much down to earth? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu set the bar. He said, Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. He said, consider yourself more insignificant than a blade of grass. The blade of grass has the smallest position. It's willing to take its place under the feet of people without complaining. It is so insignificant. Your intellect must be convinced, I am so insignificant. And then he says, Tarorapi sahishnuna. At the same time, be tolerant as well. How tolerant? Can I be little bit intolerant? You know, like, supposing I am 85% tolerant and 15% intolerant, is that doable proposition? See, this tolerance is for protecting your own sadhana. Because if you are intolerant, external situations will disturb your inner state. Now you see, I'm only intolerant of that one thing. And that one thing has power over you. And the path we are on is to become impervious to external disturbances. That is what we discussed yesterday, the Sthita Pragya state, which means nothing should be able to disturb you. And that will require growing your tolerance, enhancing it more and more. One husband and wife, they went back to India to meet their relatives. Now when Indians go back, they have a lot of relatives to meet. The first nanad, the second nanad, the third nanad, the fourth nanad, the cousins, and then the cousins' spouses, and the cousins' spouses' parents, and so on, and the children, new children who have been born. This sequence was going on, and everybody was behaving so well with the husband and his wife, except the husband's fourth sister. So the wife, it was getting on her nerves, and she would keep on complaining that my nanad, your fourth sister is behaving so badly. And the husband, being of gentle demeanor, would say, okay, I'll try, let's see what to do. Yeah, you're right. One day he said, look, Mem Sahab, she is what she is. I cannot change anybody's behavior or take responsibility for it. You will have to learn to tolerate it. This is the tolerance. That tolerance, people who struggle with it, they always have problems in interpersonal interactions and relationships. To reach the senior executive level in any company, you have to master this ability. Because somebody may be extremely obnoxious, but in a professional relationship, you have to put that aside and interact. So that level of maturity is expected of effective executives. In the path of sadhana, it is put as a prerequisite, not for the other guy's sake, for protecting your own sadhana, so that nothing can disturb you. And tolerance and humbleness will go hand in hand. Why? Because when you are humble, you will be aware of your shortcomings. You will be aware that I've heard so many lectures and still my defects are not falling off. So when you are conscious of your own infirmities, you will be more lenient towards the infirmities of others. If I am struggling, well, if the others are struggling, that's only understandable. What is the big deal? So humbleness automatically tips the scale towards tolerance as well. Now, the kind of tolerance that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks about is astonishing. He says, Tarorapi sahishnuna, be more tolerant than the tree. The tree, you throw a stone at it, the tree still does not lose its peace. It will shower fruits. There's a story told about a great king of Punjab, Ranjit Singh. You know, the Kohinoor diamond, the most valuable diamond of the world, used to be in his court before it was taken away. So he had a big heart. And he was blind in one eye. In his kingdom, in his garden, one little boy came to break mangoes. Now the lower mangoes, you can climb up and break them. But the juicy ones are always the higher mangoes. So he was using stones to knock them off the branch. And one of the stones chose to go right through the leaves and branches. And it just happened at that time, Maharaja Ranjit Singh was going by on his horse in the garden, and the stone came and hit him on the head, bullseye. Now imagine, a commoner's little child has the insolent impudence to hit such a big emperor whose kingdom in those days went all the way to today's Afghanistan. This is sufficient and reasonable reason to be angry. But Maharaja Ranjit Singh was not angry. He told his sipais, let the child be brought to my court. Now the child went home and told his mother. The mother said, you are done for. Nevertheless, she accompanied. They came to court, and the king asked, why did you throw the stone? He said, Maharaj, I was taking aim at the mango on the tree, but my aim was not correct. So it missed the mango and came and hit you. I am so apologetic. Ranjit Singh asked his servants, get a basket of mangoes here. The basket was brought. He said, offer it to the child. The ministers were amazed. They said, he hit you with a stone, and you are offering him a basket of mangoes? The emperor said, if he had not hit me and hit the tree would have showered the mango upon him. Am I less than the tree in my existence? Can I not do as good a job as the tree can? Why not offer him a basket? That is tolerance. That is the kind of tolerance that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking. Tarorapi sahishnuna, not as a favor to the other guy, as a favor to your own self. Because then you will have the mental immunity. You know, one good Samaritan has been arranging immunity drinks. Giloe and Tulsi Chai, etc. So we all have been enhancing our immunity to the pathogens. But what about the immunity to the external disturbances, the mental disturbances? That immunity build-up happens with tolerance, and tolerance, the prerequisite for it is humbleness. When you are humble, you are grounded, and you automatically become tolerant towards others. So humbleness is the very foundation of every spiritual path. Paul Deussen, German philosopher, said, egotism is like a cloud that keeps God hidden from our sight. If by the mercy of the true Guru egotism vanishes, then God is seen in His full glory. Rakha chakha chahe prem ras, Rakha chahe maan. I forget the author of this couplet. He says, you wish to relish prem and you wish to also keep pride. Ek myan mein do khadag, dekhi suni na kaan. In one sheath, the scabbard of the sword, there is only space for one sword. Likewise, you can either keep pride or get prem, but you cannot have both. So if you want to receive God's grace, you will have to make space for it. And that space will be the emptying of the self. The famous couplet of Kabir ji, Jab main tha, tab hari nahi. Ab hari hai, main nahi. Prem gali ati sankari, yame dvain samahi. You know, there's one Sankari gali. Sankari means narrow. You can only pass by in a single file. So likewise, the street of divine love is Sankari. You either keep the main, the ego, or you keep Hari or God. Together they will not reside. So let us make this decision that to be humble is a gift we offer to ourselves. And it is the foundation, ground of spirituality. So Kripaluji Maharaj out here is making an extreme statement of humbleness. And he says, I, Sri Krishna, am fallen? No. Very fallen? No. Very, very fallen? No. I am the most fallen. Why and how can anybody feel like that? We will sing the lines and try and understand. Mosam patit bado bhayo ko.
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 Papan ki gathari.
Lakhi anant papan ki gathari.
Lakhi anant papan ki gathari.
Lakhi anant papan ki gathari.
Jam ke kaan khado bhayo ko.
Jam ko kaan khado bhayo ko.
Jam ko kaan khado bhayo ko.
Jam ko kaan khado bhayo ko.
Factually, we have nothing to be proud of. All that we possess has come from Him. We came empty-handed in this world. We shall leave empty-handed. What is ours that we can take credit for? However, the material intellect is not convinced. It is a defect of the intellect. It's conditioning to be proud. One lady visited a psychiatrist in Washington, and she was explaining all the various problems she has. People are so nasty, they do such bad things to me, nobody understands my sentiments, and God is unfair, life is unfair, everything is wrong. I am of course right. So the psychiatrist could diagnose very easily, because he's diagnosing 15 people every day for the last 30 years. So the psychiatrist said, you do one thing, go and visit the Washington Monument, look at it, and see and think, this is bigger than me. And there are so many things in this world bigger than me. This pride will reduce. Factually, the pride is in forgetfulness of God and His greatness. The firefly can be proud at night without the presence of the glory of the sun. But when the sun arises, can the firefly still make claims about its tremendous radiance? It will naturally be silenced. But this intellect, in its present state, it does not realize that it has got pride. And if you ask yourself, Swamiji was saying, I need to be humble. So do I have pride? You ask yourself. And your intellect will say, no, not really. But whom did you ask? I asked my Buddhi, Swamiji, and my Buddhi said, I don't have pride. But the pride is sitting in the intellect. So the intellect is not able to figure out its own defect. The intellect is intoxicated by it. It's like the stories of Akbar and Birbal are so popular in India. The story goes that Akbar was touring Delhi on his elephant. Badshah of ancient times, medieval times. And a drunkard was standing by the roadside. The drunkard saw the emperor on the elephant and said, "Kyon be hathi bechega? Will you sell me your elephant?" Akbar did not have the kind of tolerance that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talked about. He became infuriated. He said to his soldiers, "Let this person be presented in my court." That person came to his senses when the intoxication went away and he realized he had made a fatal mistake. He went running to the wise minister Birbal and said, "Huzur, you alone can save me now from the wrath of Akbar." Birbal said, "It's a simple matter. Do like this." The next day, this ex-drunkard was brought in the court. Akbar said, "You asked me if I'll sell my elephant?" That Sharabi said, "Huzur, I don't need any elephants. And if I need, I will purchase from elsewhere. Why should I purchase from you?" but I don't have the money to buy elephants. And my bank doesn't give the credit line for elephants. Why in the world should I ask you to sell your elephant? Akbar said, if you did not say that sentence, then who said it? So he had been coached by Birbal. He said, Huzur, I know the culprit. Akbar said, bring him before me. Huzur, give me 24 hours. I will present him right in this court. Akbar agreed. The next day, the man came with a bottle of alcohol. You know, the homemade alcohol in India, tharra. So he came and he put it on the table in front of Akbar. Akbar said, ye kya gustakhi hai? Huzur, it was all this bottle that was speaking. What do you mean? I had drunk few pegs of this and I was intoxicated. My intellect was not working. It was controlled by this. Now the intoxication has gone away. I am back in my senses. It was the fault of the bottle. Likewise, the pride sits in the intellect. And the obstacle is to realize that there is pride. And for that, we need the help of the Guru and the scriptures who are telling us, look, there is pride. If pride had been dropped, you would have achieved God realization. Pride is the last defect that will go. It is the first defect that comes. Because pride identifies the soul with all this contraption, and then it invites desire, greed, anger, etc. So the contact point between the divine soul and the material energy is established through ahankar. And that is why it is the last defect that will go. Sri Maharaj Ji says, look, Bhagavan is Deenanath, savior of the destitutes. And we are Deen, destitute. Then why has he not saved us? Because we have never admitted we are destitutes. And we have never admitted that he is the savior of the destitutes either. So the fact that we have not arrived at the goal is proof enough of the pride inside of us. But Maharaj Ji here gives a convincing argument. He says, my Lord, I have so many shortcomings. This contemplation is fundamental to humbleness. To contemplate your shortcomings. To repeatedly think about your defects and cultivate that freedom from vanity. He says, I have so many defects and I have committed so many sins. So the fact is that we all have sinned because we are all in ignorance. And if our actions are not for the pleasure of God, that is a sin. From the highest transcendental point of view, every act should be for His pleasure. So while we are in Maya, we cannot avoid sin. And that is why there's the story in the Ramayana. Ram had resided with Sita for 12.5 years in Chitrakoot, in the forest at Ayr, and Sita used to serve Ram. But one day when they woke up, they used to do their daily ablutions. And Ram started doing the shringar of Sita, the ornamentation. He said, Sita, now your role will be primary. And that is why I am decorating you. Just by chance, Indra's son Jayant happened to be there. And he saw Ram decorating Sita. And he said, I had heard that he is Brahma. What kind of Brahma is he? The Jayant became confused. And as a form of a test or expression of irritation, he took the body of a crow and came and bit at Mother Sita's lotus feet. Sita screamed a little but tolerated the pain. But Ram could not tolerate. He released a barn, the Agni barn. So Jayant was now being chased by this Agni barn. And he came to his original form as the son of the celestial king. But wherever he would go, the Agni barn would follow him. He came to his father, please protect me. Indra said, you have taken up a fight with Ram. What can I do? He went to Brahma, went to Shivji, went to Vishnu. They all said, impossible. He met Narad. Narad said, look, there is only one chance now. Narad dekhi vikala jayanta lagi daya komala chitta santa. Pathva turat ram pahito hi kahesi pukari pranata hit pahi. Just go and beg forgiveness at the feet of Ram. So Jayant came and fell at Ram's feet and said, my Lord, pahi mam, I made a mistake, forgive me. Ram said, no, you have committed an unforgivable offense. Ram is staunch in his position. Sita spoke up, the mother of the universe. She says, Karuna Nidhan, if you don't mind, can I ask you a question? Ram said, go ahead. Is there anyone in this material realm who is under Maya and he is not sinned? Ram said, there is none. Then why are you saying he has committed an unforgivable offense? Forgive him. Ram said, all right, makes sense. Ram forgave Jayant. So all of us have sinned. That is what Maharajji says here, but he says, I have committed so many sins. Now he is taking on the role of a devotee from our point of view. He's teaching us how to cultivate humbleness. So he says, I have committed so many sins. He said, not really, Swamiji. I may have done a few sins. But, he is now going to explain in the next line why he has made that statement. Mosam patet bado bhayo ko.
Mosam patet bado bhayo ko. Jamil adik to jhoothe hi. पतितन नाम पढ़ो भयो को
सम पतित बड़ो भयो को
मोसम पतित बड़ो भयो को.
When we talk about sinners who were redeemed, the example is given of Ajamil. Ajamil was engaged in such evil deeds, but the power of God's name saved him. And the second example is given of Ratnakar. He killed so many, he was a hunter, etc. And then he got saved by chanting Ram's name. But these examples that are given are on the basis of one lifetime. In this lifetime, Ajamil did so many sins. However, the account of karmas is not of one lifetime. It stretches to innumerable lifetimes. All of us have had so many lives, and God has got an account of them all. Dhritarashtra asked Sri Krishna after the Mahabharata. One by one, his 99 children died. And when the 100th Duryodhan died, Gandhari got the news. She fainted, collapsed on her knees. And Dhritarashtra was also shattered. He said, Sri Krishna, will there be anyone more unfortunate than me? I was born blind and never saw anything. I had 100 sons and I lost them all. And as an old man, I am grieving separation from them. What sins did I do to get this karmic reaction? Sri Krishna said, not in this life. What about your past life? He gave Dhritarashtra the ability to see into his past life. Dhritarashtra said, not in my past life as well. He saw the life before and the life before, and then realized 50 lives ago he had been a powerful king. And he had gone on a merciless hunting expedition. There he had discovered an extremely gentle, elegant, divine swan with beautiful eyes. And in his cruelty, he had gouged out the eyes of the swan and killed it. And it had 100 baby swans around that he had mercilessly slaughtered. And then he realized this was the karmic reaction of that past deed. So all of us, our account is of endless lifetimes. So if we did one sin in one life, in endless lifetimes, we've all sinned endless times. It's very simple mathematics. So that is why he is saying that I am a sinner of endless lifetimes, Maharaj. It's that thought which makes us humble. Mo samapatit bado bhayok.
Mo samapatit bado bhayok.
Eto kachuk काल के
वे तो कछुक काल के हीरा
कछुक काल की हीरा
वे तो कछुक काल के हीरा
आपन कछुक जड़ो
आपन कछुक जड़ो भयो को
हो अमित जन्म को पापी
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 अब हठ ही अड़ो भयो को
अब हठ ही अड़ो भयो को
So he is saying, O Sri Krishna, I am a sinner since endless lifetimes. Now that is not some made up concoction, that's the reality. If we did one sin in one lifetime, then we have done endless sins in endless lifetimes. So he's saying that Ajamil is said to be a big sinner on the account of one life. It is like a businessman says, I made $10,000 profit today in my 7-Eleven store. 10,000 in one day? So you'll rake up 300,000 in a month? He says, Arey nahi baba. Today was 10,000, tomorrow will be 5,000, then 1,000, there'll be a loss in purchases. At the end of the month when I total up, that's when I'll come to know the monthly profit. So likewise, this one lifetime is not the big deal. All of us are ananta janma ko papi. This is the basis of the humbleness. So now he says, my Lord, there is only one solution. When that ghada of pap becomes too big, then you have to smash it. So please use your Sudarshan Chakra and smash this ghada. And this is also a plea for grace. The devotee says, my Lord, grace me. God says, become humble and I'll grace you. Devotee says, I am trying to become humble but unable to be humble. So my Lord, you grace me with humbleness. And after that, of course, I will endear myself to you and you'll grace me with all the divine blessings. That is why there's a verse. Yadi dainyam tvat kripa hetur. Little bit of Sanskrit you understand, right? Dainyam. Yadi dainyam tvat kripa hetur natadasti maman vapi. O Radhe Shri Krishna, the condition for your kripa is dainya, humbleness. I don't have it. Now what to do? Tang kripa kuru radhesha yayate dainyamapnuyam. First of all, you bestow your grace and make me humble. And then after that, I will be eligible for your further graces. So, for humbleness also, we can strive. And when you strive and strive and strive and strive, and you see, oh my God, this is like a tree which has got roots that are going 1 mile deep. The pride. Say, oh, now His grace is necessary. So Maharaj Ji is saying, hey Shri Krishna, use that Sudarshan Chakra and knock out all my stupidity and make me humble. Mosam patit bado bhayok.
Mosam patit bado bhayok.
Chakradikana Kripalu Nachutiya.
Chakradikana Kripalu Nachutiya.
Chakradikana Kripalu Nachutiya.
Chakradikana Kripalu Nachutiya.
Mama urpap ghado bhayok.
Amar aap ghado bhayok.
Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Radhe.
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 Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Radhe
Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Radhe
Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Ram Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Hare
Ram Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Mo sam patit bado bhayo ko
Mosam patit bado bhayo ko
Sam patit bado bhayo ko
Mosam patit bado bhayo ko
Sam patit bado bhayo ko
Mosam patit bado bhayo ko
Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki
Jai
Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki
Jai
Bhakti Kirtan Retreat ki Radha Krishna Mandir ki Samas Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Jai